I'm Mark Jamieson, and I'm here with Dr. Marco Musiani, and just have a few questions about wolves. I study zoology, so I've a keen interest in them.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, so basically, the wolf is like a symbol of nature. And like whenever I think of wolves, I think of like the wolf on like the cliff, and like howling at the moon. So like, do the wolves howl at the moon, or like, what is actually happening?
Somebody that I recall, and I want to mention here, said that the Buddha is perfectly comfortable in a natural environment or within the engine of a motorcycle. And I think the wolves are perfectly comfortable in beautiful landscapes, into the wilderness, and sometimes even much closer to people and human features than we think.
Mm-hmm. But like, whenever you see them howling at the moon, are they howling like a mythical, like, are they howling towards the moon as some connection they have to the physical thing of the moon, or?
I think that we in wolves notice the wilderness that is into us, the necessity for natural environment that we are losing. And wolves are our entry point to understand the functioning of ecosystems. Therefore, yes, we click with nature, we click with wilderness through wolves.
Okay. So, like the wolves, like, they have a high like social cohesion. So, and people always talk about them with like, they have the roles, the beta, the omega, the alpha. Are these roles like set, like whenever they're born, like the wolf will have a personality, or can these like roles be switched and changed, sort of?
What has always surprised me of wolves is one aspect, and this aspect is that yes, they are hierarchical animals, and there is a female hierarchy and there is a male hierarchy, and there is a so-called pecking order. So any male knows to which animal it is dominant and to which animal it is not dominant, and any female will know.
Okay.
And there is a type of respect between the sexes. Specifically, the males are more respectful to females and females are respectful to males. This is the major rule. Then currently in the literature, there is lots of debate on whether there are really all these categories like alpha, beta, gamma, up to the omega, which is the lowest in the hierarchy. And I think that what I can tell you is that, again, there is a female pecking order, there is a male pecking order, and that's it. It's so simple. Then I question myself, don't we humans have the same? Meaning that also in my family, for example, there is a female pecking order. I'm the only male, but I can tell you there is a female pecking order.
Okay, okay. And then within, so like the females, say, of the wolves would be able to like squabble amongst themselves, and the males would squabble amongst themselves, but they don't squabble between the sexes, sort of thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the idea behind that is that there is more or less only one female and one male that consistently reproduces in a pack.
Yeah.
And what happens is that the male will prevent aggressively other males from reproducing, and the female will do the same with other females.
Okay.
So that is the basis for this hierarchy.
Yeah. Okay, very good. How many would be in each pack? Like,
it depends on the conditions, but more or less there is a rule of thumb. The bigger the preferred prey, the bigger the pack.
yeah.
So in regions where the preferred prey is bison, for example, Wood Buffalo National Park, over there you can see big packs,
Yeah.
up to say 15, 20 wolves.
Okay.
In areas where the prey is medium size, like elk, then you have packs of approximately, say, 10 individuals.
Yeah.
In areas where the prey is smaller, say deer, then around 5, 6.
Yeah. And you say the conditions, so like during the winter, maybe depending on how much prey is available, they have to like drop members or pick members up and stuff like this, maybe, yeah.
Well, I say that the major rule of thumb is that the pack should be enough to subdue the prey,
Yeah.
because it's a group work, right? So the bigger the prey, the more animals you need
Yeah.
to collaborate in putting down the prey. And
Yeah.
also, the prey should be enough to feed a whole pack, meaning that in region where there is only deer, the deer is not enough to fully feed 20 wolves. So
Yeah.
over there, packs of 20 are not possible at all.
Yeah. And then they form like they have territories, and sometimes these territories can be huge. Like, how do they maintain, like, to be, let's say, two different packs of wolves? How does one wolf maintain such a large territory and stop the other wolf pack coming in?
This is interesting. What they really do is that they make sure that within their territory there are some core areas in which there is enough prey to sustain the pack.
Mm-hmm.
And then they defend these core areas and the areas around them, literally patrolling these peripheral areas. And when they encounter other wolves, they might get aggressive.
Yeah.
They might communicate through howling or barking, because wolves howl too, or other means. And in some cases, they can even start a fight with the other pack.
Yeah.
In case there is not wolves around, they might leave some scent, and specifically, they mark with their pee or scats, and these are they have a definite strong smell that will last for weeks there.
Okay. So, because of the large territory size, conservation issues can be kind of difficult to undertake, because you don't know where the wolves are or whatever, but yet they have large environmental effects, the wolf, in the ecosystem. So how, like, let me see. It's a badly worded question.
No, you have two questions in here, which is good.
Okay. So you have the large territory size.
Yeah.
And then the conservation issues to maintain wolf numbers can be thwarted because the territory size is so large, but they have a large impact on the environment. So how can we develop strategies to help conserve the wolves in these large sizes?
More or less, society wants to preserve functioning ecosystems, and a claim can be made that wolves are part of functioning ecosystems. Now, you made the case that there is no protected areas that can sustain a whole wolf population. Simply, they move so much that they will end up out of the protected area, and therefore we should look at conservation means that allow for wolf presence even outside protected areas. We should convince people that if they want to have working ecosystems, they can invest some energy into coexisting with wolves even outside protected areas. And when I say we should convince, is not that it should be a mandatory objective, but if people want to have working ecosystem around with wolves, they should acknowledge that these wolves will also frequent areas that are not within the ideal fenced national park that we envision.
Yeah, the people have to want to do it. They can't be forced to do it, sort of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
And so, if the wolf is so beneficial and is necessary, why is there such opposition from people,
I spoke with many people and interest groups that have an opinion about wolves. And surprisingly, there is no group or no individual that wants wolves eliminated from any region. However, wolves can get into conflict with a number of human interests, and for example, livestock. Wolves will attack any ungulate present within their ranges, even if this is a domesticated ungulate. And of course, this conflicts with the interests and also with the opinions of the livestock producers.
Yeah, as you say, livestock predation can be a problem, and it's sometimes controlled by like lethal methods. But like, is there any other methods that can be used? Like I've heard of methods like it's still in like using recorded wolf howls to like maintain a fake range boundary to stop the wolves coming in to that area, or maybe like it's called range riders, like people going around to maintain, like a bit of human effort to maintain the wolves, to stop them coming in, yet without having to kill them.
I've worked on the problem of wolf predation of livestock in Europe and in North America.
Yeah.
I've also served for the United Nations as a consultant to just address that issue. And I think that we should acknowledge that there is not an ultimate technological solution to the problem of wolves attacking livestock. We should just accept that they might do it. And at that point, there are some preventing techniques to diminish the rate of attack, but there is no ultimate solution.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I study in Scotland, right? I study in Aberdeen, and I'm very interested in the wolves and the idea of like the Cairngorm National Parks. And there's some talk about reintroducing the wolf into the Cairngorms. And how could the media, like, you know, win the hearts and minds of the people to try and like get this idea rolling?
Okay, I'm fully familiar with the idea to reintroduce wolves in Scotland. I met with these people. I should say that they are wolf lovers, most of them. And then there are other people who are absolutely against it.
Yeah.
And there is a large majority of people who don't have a kind of a settled opinion about it. I do not want to encourage the majority of people to change their opinion about it.
Yeah.
I think it is a challenge to reintroduce wolves in Scotland. Simply, there is too much sheep production there, and there will be problems. It will not reflect wolves good on wolves or on people wanting to protect wolves. Either way, if you really want that something like this happens, the best idea is to have some meetings and open houses with anybody who will get in touch with wolves, or anybody whose interests are being threatened by wolves potentially, and see if people will have kind of a paradigm shift for which they will start accepting that, yes, wolves will cause some damage. Wolves are wild animals. Wolves need to prey on some ungulates, and Scotland is not a wilderness place anymore. If this paradigm shift will happen, then yes, you can have wolves in Scotland too.
So one of the problems that could be an issue is the fear, like hikers and stuff using the Cairngorms and coming out, and you know, they're scared of talks and or not talks, attacks of the wolves and stuff. And films depict the wolf, you know, as this search and destroy machine, like, you know, sneaking up on people and using their cunning to track and kill them. And even films as new as the 2011 film that's called The Grey, starring Liam Neeson, and, you know, it shows this wolf as like a monstrous animal, you know. And, like, is there any basis that's true about these like depictions?
No, I've also written a critique of that movie. I went to watch the movie. Did you watch the movie?
I've seen it, yeah. I actually really liked the movie. So.
Me too. I really enjoyed the movie. I seen that in Calgary, and I was surprised by the amount of wrong information that was in that movie.
Yeah.
And I should say that I also was surprised by noticing the reaction of the public that seemed to believe that information and seemed to suddenly switch towards being fearful of wolves. So I'm surprised by one fact on how a movie that is based upon wrong information can switch the mind of people in a matter of days, as opposed to years and years of education about wolves. This is my comment on that.
Yeah. Okay. And so there's werewolves that get depicted in movies, you know, like they get depicted as this bipedal, like, eating machine. So aside from the biological limitations,
like robots with strange fluorescent eyes. Yes, I agree with you.
So apart from the biological limitations of this, you know, like, if werewolves were to exist and, you know, humans get, like, would they have like social order like a wolf pack would have, or how do you think like a werewolf would be?
If werewolves were...
Yeah, if they were real.
If werewolves were real, you should ask to my girls. One is 9-year-old and the one is 7 years old. They have opinions. Everybody has an opinion about werewolves. And personally, I like these stories about werewolves.
Yeah.
I think that, again, they demonstrate how people use wolves to relate to nature. And, of course, people want to have wilderness in nature. Part of this is the mystery of wilderness,
Yeah.
what we cannot know or control, and wolves represent just that. So this maybe explains our attraction for werewolves, or my attraction to werewolves
Yeah.
too. Now, if werewolves were real, I think again that you should ask to my girls. I think that they would behave simply like wolves, and a bit more evil, simply because we want that way.
Yeah, the mind wants it to be this evil beast.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, on to like the one known Wolfman. You know, this guy from England, Sean Ellis. I was just wondering, you're in like what you thought of his. You know, I'd mentioned the recording wolf howls and stuff with the boundaries. That was something apparently he came up with. Like, and I was wondering what you thought, if he's helped the scientific world with wolves, or.
Him personally, I don't know. I think that people who are portraying the wolves as friends, they're missing the point that we,
They're
as
wild.
humans, have done it for tens of thousands of years. We have friends who are wolves. These are called dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs and wolves are genetically identical, but through artificial selection, humans have picked only those traits that make that species so friendly to us.
Yeah.
So if one is in search of a friend, why not a dog?
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you. Thank you very much.